Hello and welcome back to another Official Vader video. Today will be part 2 of my ultimate list of Star Wars canon species. Not a lot of species that start with J. We have a Jablogian and a Jawa. As Morrigan is a Jablogian from Star Wars Rebels. The Jawas are seen on Tatooine, they're seen on Navarro and The Mandalorian, and on Avalor 7. Then we have the letter K. General Grievous was a Kalish before he got transformed into a cyborg. Colorins were in the Canon Jarrus comic book. Janice Casimir helped Caleb Doom kind of survive Order 66. Kaminoans were seen in Attack of the Clones. They are the Cloners. Tonwi, Lama Su were some examples of them. Karkarodons were seen in the Clone Wars. Rift Tamsin is one. They are shark-like beings that live underwater. Keldor species, that's Plo Koon, the Jedi Master on the Jedi Council. We have a Klatooinian. Klatoonians were seen in the animated shows and also in The Mandalorian, the pirates who raid the planet Sorgan. And a Korvar, you see them in the prequels. Pascal Argente is one of them. He is on the Separatist Council. We have a Kowakian monkey lizard, one of my favorite species. Salacious B. Crumb, most underrated Star Wars character. And then we have the Kubaz, that secret weird spy with a long snout in the beginning of A New Hope. And then also you see him in The Mandalorian. And then you have Embo, one of my favorite bounty hunters in the Clone Wars, and he's a Kayuzo. The Jedi Master Even Peel, seen in the Clone Wars and seen in Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. He's Atlantic. Our favorite Lasat, Garazeb Aurelios, aka Zeb from Star Wars Rebels. The Lanai, which are the caretakers from Star Wars The Last Jedi on Luke's island on the planet Ahch-To. The Lurmen, which you see in the Clone Wars. Wag-2 is an example of one of these characters. Latero, you see him in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Grease Dritus, and he's from the planet Lateron. And then a Leffingite is a weird species that you see briefly in what looks to be a taxi speeder or a speeder when Anakin and Obi-Wan are chasing Zam Wesell on Coruscant. Moving on to the letter M, we have Mimbanese. You see them in Solo: A Star Wars Story. They are on the planet Mimban, and then one of them is also in Enfys Nest's crew. Amirialan, which is the species of Luminara Unduli and her apprentice Barriss Offee. The Mon Calamari, that's the species of Admiral Akbar, and then his son Aftab Akbar is in Episode 9. The Munes are the leaders of the Banking Clan. They're from the planet Scipio. We see that planet in the Clone Wars, and San Hill is one of the main leaders. He is in the Clone Wars and also the prequels. And fun fact, Darth Plagueis is also known to be immune, at least in Legends. We don't know what species Darth Plagueis is in canon. I'm assuming they wouldn't change it though. And then finally, a Mythrol is the new aquatic species that we see in Episode 1 of The Mandalorian, played by comedian Horatio Sands. Now we are at the ends. A Nautilin is the species of Kit Fisto of the Jedi Order. He is from Glee Anselm, and also Glee Anselm is the planet that Beckett keeps talking about. He wants to play that Valacord on Glee Anselm in Solo. The Nemoidians are part of the Trade Federation. Newt Gunray is the leader, and they hail from Cato Nemoidia. Nephrons were introduced in Solo. Therm Scissorpunch, a great name. He was a member of this species. Niktos you see a lot in canon. Ima Gundai is the Jedi who dies in the Clone Wars episode, and his name is Ima Gundai because he's gonna die. And the final species I'll touch upon on this slide is the Nogri. The Nogri were a species introduced in Legends with Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books. Rook was Thrawn's assistant, and in Legends, Rook is actually the one to kill Thrawn. In canon, Rook bites it in Rebels, and Thrawn is still alive. The O's, we have an Ortolan, Max Rebo from the Max Rebo band. You see him, he's the big blue guy. And then we have an Avician, introduced in Episode 9. Bulio is an Avician. You can also play as them in Battlefront 2. And then the Angri, which is the species of Coleman Kaj, who was a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council for most of the war. For the P's, we'll start with a Palawick. That is the species of Sny Snoodles, the singer that was added to Return of the Jedi in the Special Edition. She also has a couple episodes dedicated to her in the Clone Wars series. We have Pantorans, the blue species. George Lucas plays Baron Papanoida in Revenge of the Sith, and that character also has a couple episodes in the Clone Wars as well. Apawin are those creepy looking guys from Utapau. The most notable one is the Grand Inquisitor that we see in Rebels, and then Tian Madan is the one who confronts Obi-Wan on the landing pad on Utapau in Revenge of the Sith. The Pikes were a well-known species for their spice cartel. We see them in the Clone Wars, and then there's also one appearing in Solo: A Star Wars Story on Kessel. The Quarren were aligned with the Separatists during the Clone War, and they fought the Mon Calamari on Mon Cala in a couple of Clone Wars episodes. And then we have the Cormians, which we just see one in The Phantom Menace. Yarael Poof is a Jedi Master on the Council, and then we don't see him after that, so I don't know what happened to him. The R's, we have the Rodians, which is the species of Greedo, who Han kills in Episode 4, and then we see them a bunch in the shows and then more movies too. And then the Runin species, we see some briefly too. Halsey is an example. He was a Jedi who was killed by Savage Opress defending the Jedi Temple on Deveron. That's going to do it for part 2 of my ultimate list of Star Wars canon species. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for the next parts of this series. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good one.